Welcome to a spectacular day in Madison, and welcome to the Big Ten on ESPN. The sun's shining, 70 degrees, homecoming for Badger fans. But it's been a tumultuous season, to say the least, as they take on Purdue. At the start of the season, the head coach was Paul Chryst. Now it's Jim Leonhard, his first home game on the sideline as the interim head coach of Wisconsin. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky and Chris Budden. As we said, could not be a more perfect day to sit outside and take in a football game. But for this Wisconsin program, Dan, anything but perfect this year.
Yeah, a little bit of an unknown and uncertainty that they sit in right now. And when you watch them, Bob, they just don't look like the Wisconsin that we've gotten used to watching for 30 years or something. Jimmy Leonhard wants his kids to do one thing today: play with the effort that is expected when you put on that Wisconsin uniform.
Purdue won the toss and deferred until the second half. And for Jeff Brom, he has a team that is very much in position to win a division title and possibly play in a Big Ten championship game. They've got a head-to-head game with Illinois later on in the season. That could be the determinant game as to which team gets a chance to go to the Big Ten title game. They have ridden the right arm of Aiden O'Connell.
Playing as good as anybody in the Big Ten outside of C.J. Stroud. Great ball placement, trying to do something they haven't done in 15 years. Beat Wisconsin.
Short kick. Isaac Correndo is going to run up. That ball's going to take a hop inside the 20-yard line or inside the 25 in no man's land, and it is covered up. It will be Wisconsin ball. Bit of a shaky start. Looks like Jackson Acker was the one to jump on top of it. So Graham Mertz, it has been a tumultuous career for him here in Madtown as well. 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this season, 16 and 11 in his 27 starts. And they will lean on the run game of Braylon Allen. He's got 4.5 on first down.
Well, they've got Braylon Allen. And for an offense that in many ways has not looked like itself, Braylon Allen is tough. He makes big plays. He's consistent. He's got power and speed. And only a sophomore for this program.
The throw for the first time. Wide open. Cross it from right to left. And getting out of bounds in Purdue territory is Skylar Bell. That's a gain of 28. And a terrific looking throw from Mertz.
I love the fact that they put the formation into the boundary. Watch this from Graham Mertz. He peeks to his left. Bell's coming across the field on the crosser. And I love the ball placement. The big thing that stands out to me in that moment is the rhythm of Graham Mertz. Play action. One hitch, don't try to do too much, and deliver a perfect throw.
Load up with 2 tight ends and run it with Allen. Looking for a cutback lane. He gets tripped up at the 40, falls to the 38. 6 yards on the carry as Kieran Douglas made the stop.
Purdue defensively, one of the things that they've had a really good start to the year in is doing a good job of defending the traditional run. Take out the quarterback run, the traditional run. Their front is very solid. They do a good job of creating those fits. Douglas and Graham at the linebacker have done a very good job of not allowing big plays on the ground.
Jalen Graham, number 4 on the team in tackles, despite of the fact he's only played 3 games. Mertz on 2nd and 4. Slant right, broken up. Great hands by Reese Taylor. Knocked it away from Chimere Dike. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
And this ball is perfectly thrown. Watch Chimere and Dike just ball placed right on his face mask, and Reese Taylor brings that right hand across the football. Very good job of breaking on the ball.
So it might be 4 down territory. We'll see for Wisconsin. They'll go empty on 3rd down and 4. And now they'll motion Allen into the backfield.
Zone coverage. No one match the tailback. Get the ball out of your hands.
4-man rush. Mertz. He'll tuck it under and run. And he's got the first down. Broke a tackle. And dives inside the 30 to the Purdue 29. Picked up 9. Branson Bean had a chance to bring him down near the line of scrimmage and could not get him on the ground.
Watch his feet. 1, 2. No one's there. Now tuck the ball and go be an athlete. You've got enough ability with that, Graham Mertz. And I love that. Early on in this game right now, really listening to his feet, not holding on to the football, trusting what his eyes are telling him.
The action. Mertz on a rollout. He's going to float one into the end zone. Caught for the touchdown by Bell. I think Graham Mertz enjoyed that one. Touchdown pass number 16 on the season. And he found Skylar Bell for the 2 big chunk plays on that drive. Banzels puts the point after through. And Wisconsin with the early 7-0 lead.
Yeah, it's just called a roll pass. You're trying to get Graham Mertz out on space. And what you're going to do is flow everybody the same way. Now, DK is going to be the guy that crosses right here. Now, pay attention to this corner. He's going to drive DK, and that's what's going to allow Skylar Bell to pop open free on that corner. Just high load that corner. You move the quarterback out so he's got great vision. Watch it. Watch the route. I love the displacement of space right there. DK goes first. Bell follows. Corner falls off. Touchdown. Look at Graham Mertz. Really good job of making sure I'm seeing the whole picture. And that's a beautifully thrown football. Man, Graham Mertz has come out hot in this football game for Wisconsin.
And it seems like a little more creativity in this Wisconsin offensive attack since the coaching change. Seems like
a little bit of an
Jim
NFL
Leonhard,
touch.
yeah, he's given a little bit more freedom to the play callers to, as you said, add NFL wrinkles.
Yeah, motion use has become a much bigger deal, and then the formations that are going into the boundary, creating space to the field and allowing a little bit of a cleaner picture for Graham Mertz.
So let's see if Purdue now can answer. As O'Connell has had a terrific season. Outside of C.J. Stroud, we've got the number 2 and number 3 touchdown leaders in terms of passing in the Big Ten in this game, going head-to-head between Mertz and Aiden O'Connell. And here is the former walk-on. Arrived at Purdue with 9 quarterbacks on the roster. He was number 8 on the depth chart. And now he's showing up on the back end of some NFL draft boards.
Yeah, he's got great ball placement. The difference, I always say, accuracy is throwing to a guy. Ball placement is throwing away from a defender. He does that really well. Very quick release that helps everybody on their offense kind of operate a little bit better.
And the former walk-on hands it off to a walk-on. Evan Maccabee. A gain of a yard after he put up 178 yards and a touchdown last week against Nebraska, getting the start today. And another former walk-on, John Torchio, came up to make the stop. Sensing a theme between these two programs?
Yeah. Maccabee's a fun guy to watch, though. Kind of crazy legs, slippery runner, runs hard, bounces off of a lot of tackles. Very impressive to watch on tape.
4-man rush. O'Connell. That's caught by Charlie Jones, by far his favorite target. A gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 5. As Charlie Jones is number 1 in the Big Ten and number 2 in the country in catches per game and touchdowns.
And there's a theory, like, are we throwing the ball too much to Charlie Jones? If you're Purdue and, Jeff Brom and Brian Brom, their offensive coordinators, they're probably not throwing it to him enough. He's that good of a player, seeing everything the same way as Aiden O'Connell.
Tracy empties the backfield on 3rd and 5. O'Connell looks that way. And it's intercepted. Tracy was the intended receiver, and waiting for it was Torchio for the pick-6 touchdown. 2-touchdown lead for Wisconsin. Right down the field with their offense, and then a pick 6 on defense.
Well, Torchio's right here, and he's just going to drop down. Now, the concept is going to be a little bit of a shallow cross-F post. What you're trying to do is go this way and see if Torchio follows. But he's got vision on the quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. He does a great job of driving that little short post to Tyrone Tracy and walks it in for 6. That's great for Torchio, who last week had a little bit of an undisciplined play. Bad eyes. Look at him drive on it. Wait. Play high to low. AOC never sees him. What a start for Wisconsin at home.
Only the 6th interception thrown by Aiden O'Connell against 14 touchdowns this year, but a costly one. And now Wisconsin has a 2-touchdown lead, as Purdue to this point of the season had outscored their opponents 60-10 in the first quarter. They'd only allowed 1 first-quarter touchdown this year. They've just given up 2 in about 2 minutes. Lamb with another kickoff. And this one will go into the end zone for another touchback. Well, amnesia now for Aiden O'Connell right there. It has to happen. You're down 2 scores. And this game's barely underway.
What you really have to do is pay attention to what Wisconsin just felt good about. They changed the coverage. They showed him 1 coverage pre-snap. Ball gets snapped. They rotate to a different coverage. So he's got to be really good with his eyes post-snap. But to your point, Bob, that never happened. We reset. Don't try to make up for that mistake in one play. Just operate your offense.
Mockabee, running room, 9 yards on first down.
This is probably the thing about Purdue's offense that stood out the most to me watching them this week is their ability and commitment to running the football. You know, they've always been this offense that wants to throw it a ton, and they still do it a good amount, but Maccabees really kind of changed their ability to do that, and it allows their offensive line to play a little bit more aggressive.
Mockabee, first down and more with a head fake to the sideline. Finally run out on the Purdue bench at the Wisconsin 36-yard line. 35-yard gain.
Really ran right behind their fullback, Ben Furtney. 2-back, I formation. Beautiful job by the boys up front.
Jonesy, thanks very much. Purdue looking to answer an early start that's been all Wisconsin. As we welcome you here to Madison at Camp Randall. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky and Chris Budden. Just over 5 minutes gone by in the opening quarter, and the homecoming crowd very happy with what they've seen so far. Wisconsin's offense on their opening possession went right down the field. Graham Mertz hit Skylar Bell for a 29-yard touchdown, and then Aiden O'Connell was picked sixth by John Torchio. So this the second offensive possession for the Boilers, and now they will face third down and long. And then a couple of touchdowns, one on offense and one on defense for Wisconsin.
Graham Mertz came out hot, moved the quarterback, touchdown pass to Skylar Bell, and then Torchio drops down from the top of the coverage. Aiden O'Connell throws it right to him, and within 5 minutes, it was 14-0 Wisconsin.
So third and a couple for Purdue with Jim Leonard as the head coach on the sideline here at Camp Randall for the first time. Taking over for Paul Chryst, third game as the head coach, but the first at home.
They should really run the ball off the left side of their offense here.
They'll try and pick it up with Mockabee, and he's got it and more. Breaking tackles, Mockabee inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line.
Really good job by Aiden O'Connell. Walks to the line of scrimmage, sees that they had out-leveraged the defense up front. They run up the left side of their offensive line. That's how easy it is to kind of control or grab the ability to reach the defense. And Purdue's offensive run game right now is clicking.
Huckabee has been the workhorse on this drive. They'll toss it to him again. Speed tries to get to the edge. And is spun down at the 12-yard line by Jordan Turner. Picked up 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 at the 12. Aiden O'Connell, a former walk-on. He was on a 9-quarterback deep depth chart when he arrived at Purdue, number 8. And now, Dan, he's on the back end of some NFL draft boards.
Yeah, and I think the thing that he does best is place the football. He's very accurate. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly. It cleans up a lot for their offense. He's very smart. You saw it with the check at the line of scrimmage 2 plays ago. He's made himself into a very solid player.
And now a defensive timeout called by Wisconsin midway through the first quarter. Purdue threatening, but Wisconsin with the early lead. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, delivered by Papa John's. You're watching the Big Ten on ESPN. Homecoming festivities here in Madison. And Wisconsin with an early 2-touchdown lead. Their defense scoring touchdown number 2 against a Purdue team that had outscored their opponents to this point 60-10 in the first quarter. But now the Boilermakers are trying to answer as they've got it 2nd down in the red zone. Wide splits to the top of the screen for those trips wide receivers. And they'll run it with Huckabee. Torchia. Part of the group up front along with Keanu Benton to make the stop. Now it'll be 3rd down. As he got to the 10-yard line, 3rd and about 5.
And it's so good for the Wisconsin defense to have Benton back from injury. Really good game last week. Powerful, tireless motor. 3rd down in the red zone. This is when you automatically think, okay, where's Charlie Jones? You know, I'll tell you, Payne Durham, Purdue's tight end, is a much better player than maybe statistics show because he does so much for this offense.
Payne Durham part of that bunch set left. And Jones solo right. O'Connell has time, steps up, out of the pocket, extending the play. Floats one, end zone, incomplete, hoping for Durham. And here comes the field goal group for Purdue.
Just a great job by Wisconsin defensively, coverage-wise. Look at the amount of time that O'Connell has to throw. They got 7 guys in coverage, plaster everybody, stay with your guy, stay with your guy. Now try to make a play on the ball. This is great on Jones. Alexander Smith, first start today, and he just stays all over Charlie Jones.
So Mitchell Finneran will try and get Purdue on the board from only 27 yards out. Hooked it left. Purdue comes away empty. A team that has their Big West or Big Ten West title hopes in their hands. A rocky start.
ESPN College Football is delivered by Papa John's and the all-new Papa Bowls. No crust, all toppings. Try one for yourself at Papa John's. And in part by Cheez-It. Cheesy, crunchy satisfaction.
One of the great college towns in America, here in Madison, made even better by homecoming weekend. The parade last night, they've won 8 in a row on homecoming, has Wisconsin, by an average of 31 points per homecoming win. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, and Chris Budden here in Madison. But it's really Purdue that has everything on the line today. They control their hopes in their division. They very much have a chance to get to the Big Ten championship game. Bad start.
64 seconds away from being a 7-0 football team that's led by a quarterback that plays really good football and a defense that's had moments. They got to start playing better football in the middle of this first quarter.
And the good start for Skylar Bell continues as he picks up 12 yards and a first down.
Graham Mertz, quarterback for Wisconsin, is a little bit of a roller coaster. He is going to have plays that you sit there and go, man, there's the talent. That's what it's supposed to look like, 13.5 yards per completion. And then he's going to have one of those 2 plays a game you go, that's not the same guy I just saw make those plays. That's where they're searching right now for the consistency out of him.
Allen bulldozes his way for 4 yards. Well, Graham Mertz, when he came out of high school, was the #1 pro-style quarterback in America, according to our ESPN recruiting folks. But as he is now making his 28th consecutive start as a freshman, sat behind Jack Cohn. Of course, the 2020 season disrupted by COVID, and he at one point tested positive for COVID. Comes back last season and has 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in his first 7 games. Allen tries to turn the corner. And he's got a first down out near midfield. Our first chance to check in with Matt Barry.
Bobby,
right, Matt, thanks very much. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter here.
I think Graham Mertz, and just you mentioned the stats of last year, I think it forced a little bit of maturity for him as well. He really attacked this offseason to get better.
And has been better as Keontae Lewis spins into Purdue territory for a gain of 6. Reese Taylor brings him down.
Again, I think this is such a good look for him. Just be ready to freeze this. You're going to get the crossing route from the left side of the screen and sit. Watch his feet, okay? He's going to peek to his right. It's not going to be there. He's going to see the backer. No, freeze it. See, as this guy sits that way and that defender widens, now you've created a beautiful void in the middle of the defense. He goes 1 to 2. When he lives in that world, he's a good player.
Now old school Wisconsin lining up with Braylon Allen into the secondary. Braylon Allen knocked out of bounds inside the 10. They loaded up with an extra offensive lineman and a couple of tight ends up front. Played bully ball, and Allen ran for 41.
You mentioned the extra tight end, Bobby. The left tackle, Jack Nelson's going to step down on a double team. Bortolini, Braylon Allen's got great vision. See how he keeps it very narrow? Looking through the visor. Right now, Wisconsin's got everything going. Graham Mertz is distributing the football. It's coming out on time. They've got their zone and their gap scheme going. This looks like the Wisconsin of the last 30 years.
Braylon Allen, the 6th time this season he has run for 30 or more yards on a single play, the most in FBS, and it's 1st and goal. Give it to him again. Tough to bring down. Pushes the pile to the 4-yard line. It will be 2nd down and goal. Cam Allen was there first for Purdue.
Braylon Allen's got 17 touchdowns in his first 15 games as a Badger. Ron Dane is the only guy who has more. This is a young man that really came to Wisconsin as a linebacker, and they were so good there. That was the way to get him on the field, right? Play tailback, and obviously the right decision.
He's next to Mertz in the shotgun. To throw on 2nd and goal. Floats one to the back of the end zone and complete. DK was looking for a flag. Looked like Eschenbach, the tight end, was the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Purdue playing man coverage. He's trying to get Eschenbach on that shallow cross. Just floats it a little bit. And on these 3rd and goals from the 4-yard line, when you're an athletic quarterback, you don't have to play so fast. If they're going to drop people in coverage, you can use your athleticism. A 2 or 3 yard sack has no bearing on the play. So Graham Mertz, if nothing pops, trust your feet and go make a play.
DK in motion. Mertz rolls that way. Bottled up. Throws one front right pylon. Reaching it out for the goal line. DK. And he is in for the touchdown. It looked like Mertz was running out of real estate. Jim Ray DK created just enough.
Does he get in here? Oh, yeah. It looks like if the ball's in his right hand, yup. Really good job by DK. Great feel coming back to the quarterback. Ball's in the right hand before that right knee goes down. Tremendous play.
An 8-play, 80-yard touchdown drive. 21-0 Wisconsin. And they're doing it on the ground and through the air.
Now Braylon Allen right between the A-gap, center and guard, big run, and then Graham Mertz. Man, what a great job keeping the play alive with your feet. Chimray Degray doesn't go out of bounds, comes back to the football, 21-0. Badgers at home.
Hey guys, Corey Trice was out that entire drive. He's been working on his left groin.
That's a big deal. That's the big deal.
He doesn't have a helmet or anything with him right now.
Okay, thank you.
It's on the streak, and O'Connell haven't circled this game.
Okay. For whatever reason, I don't know what the system is, but it takes them literally the entire first half to get the students in the stadium. You see them like all clogged in all the entryways, and they load them up like row by row. And it takes forever for them to get in here. Unfortunately for Purdue, already an all too familiar story taking shape again today. They have been dominated by Wisconsin. They lost 15 in a row. Average margin of victory over 20 points a game. And right now it's 21-0 Wisconsin. And Purdue's offense about to get the ball back once again. They came up empty, missing a short field goal their last trip down. It's been a nightmare first quarter for the Boilermakers. And the ball blows off the tee for Gavin Lamb. A pick six on the opening possession thrown by Aiden O'Connell. Again, only his 6th interception of the season. And now down by 3 touchdowns. Abashuza, Dan Orlovsky, and Chris Budden here in Madison. Deion Burks will let that one into the end zone for a touchback. And Chris, the pressure now, all it seems on O'Connell to try and bring his team back.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that 15-game streak, and that's the reason these Purdue players have had this date circled on their calendar all year, particularly Aiden O'Connell. He told me this week, I want to redo after the way that I played a year ago. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions in that game. Not off to the start that he wanted. You have to go all the way back to 2003, last time Purdue won. Jim Leonard played in that game for Wisconsin, took it back to the house on a 63-yard punt return.
We'll see if they can get on the board on this drive. Play action on first down. Rifles went up the seam, and there was Torchia. Again, getting his hands on the football. He had the pick 6 on Purdue's first possession.
Torchio doing a good job just kind of hanging in zone, seeing the eyes of the quarterback. Wisconsin's defense come out to play. The challenge for Purdue right now, and I talked about this a little bit before, is what felt different about their offense was their commitment to running the football a little bit more, right? They even said that's how you got to win games in this conference. That's a little bit out of the window right now with this 21-0 Nugget lead.
Well, they got King DeRue back last week. He is in there at tailback, and now it'll be 3rd down and 10. A miss for T.J. Sheffield from O'Connell as we take a look at our impact players.
For Purdue offensively, it's Devin Maccabee. They're all redshirt freshmen, do everything, superstar tailback. And then Torchio, who already has a pick 6 in this game, just getting that defense for Wisconsin settled in, running the show, making all the calls, getting them to play that their standard is set.
4-man rush on 3rd and 10. O'Connell, long throw to the sideline, and did they need that one. He was able to just get it past the line to gain to Sheffield for a first down.
It's a great route by Sheffield. Watch him burst off the line, and then he's going to kind of like gallop, kind of change that pace of his route, and then come back to the football. Ball's out on time right at his face mask. See that little in-between pace change. Just softened up the corner just a little bit and allowed the completion.
And King DeRue in the backfield. And that's Paferi, the tight end, in motion. Little check down on the left flat. There is Sheffield. He shakes and bakes for 5.
Talking to Brom this week, Jeff Brom and offensive coordinator Brian Brom, they said the big key for them today was patience, because that's not normally like them offensively, and Wisconsin structurally forces it. So how patient can Jeff Brom be, play calling wise? How patient can Aiden O'Connell be decision making wise is going to go a long way determining if they can get back in it.
DeRue stood up after a gain of 2.5. It'll be 3rd down and about 3. And coming up tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, over on ABC and the ESPN app. Saturday Night Football, it's the whiteout game at Penn State. They look to bounce back against 4-2 Minnesota. That is coming up on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Another 3rd down here for Purdue. Final minute of play of the first quarter. Again, a 4-man rush. DeRue lost his footing. Made the catch, but comes up a yard short. So now it's 4th down and 1 for Purdue at their own 44-yard line, down by 3 scores so early. It's the final half minute of the opening quarter, and staying patient is Jeff Brom, not pushing any panic buttons as he will kick it away. Style kick for Ansel. And over ender. Dean Ingram makes a fair catch at his own 16-yard line. Let's check in with Matt Barry. And not so much fun for Purdue so far.
Wisconsin feels great about it.
So what should be the final play of the opening quarter. And again, 6 offensive linemen on the field for Wisconsin. They will load up as Isaac Garindo is in for the first time at tailback. Play action. Mertz with some room to scramble. Flag down. And he is out of bounds close to the 20-yard line, but the flag thrown in the offensive backfield.
Holding. Offense, number 74. Half the distance to the goal. First down. There'll be one untimed down.
So Mertz with that touchdown early to Skylar Bell. The pick six by Torchio. And then a spin-around touchdown by Chimere Dike as well. That's the 3-touchdown lead for Wisconsin. And they've got one untimed down to end the quarter after the holding penalty.
Called that one on right guard, Michael Furtney. Little aggressive play action on first down. I thought he had his tight end. Graham Mertz couldn't see it. I think that you got to lean into the run game a little bit. Run game or perimeter screen. Try to get yourself back into a good second down.
Half the distance makes it first and 18. And they'll run it with Garindo. And he got back the 8 they lost to the holding penalty. So that will take us to the end of the first quarter. to ESPN College Football, delivered by Papa John's. 21-0 Wisconsin. Purdue's the team that really has everything to play for. Back at the start of the season, Wisconsin and Iowa were predicted to battle it out for the top of the Big Ten West. But then you get your water pistol ready down at the Jersey Shore. And if you have the Purdue or Illinois lane, you're in first place. Who will get the REO Speedwagon mirror? Will it be Purdue or Illinois? Those are the two teams that control their destiny. They meet later on this season head-to-head. But Purdue, they have to win between now and then as well to make sure that that game matters what you hope it will matter, as Garendo starts off the second quarter with a gain of a couple. So it's going to be third down after Jalen Graham makes that stop.
I would crush you in that game, by the way.
I don't know. Not if there was a Bucky Dent three-quarter sleeve T-shirt on the line. Do I predate you with these references? I'm thinking Jersey Shore.
I love Seattle
circa
City.
1978.
Seattle City at the Jersey Shore. I'm a fan of Bucky Dent. Come on, buddy.
Third down and 8. As Mertz tries to keep the drive alive. Here comes a Purdue blitz. Mertz, long throw to the sideline, and a miscommunication with DK. That's the stop that Purdue's defense needed, because now not only do they have a chance to get the ball back, but they should get good field position as well.
DK's running what we call a corner or sail route, and the defender does a really good job of staying underneath, and you got it exactly right. Mertz thought a little bit flatter on that throw, and DK took it a little bit higher, maybe a little contact downfield. And there's that miss. But how about Purdue? That's the first time they've really gotten into a third and obvious passing situation for Wisconsin. Finally get off the field.
So Charlie Jones near midfield. Gunavic gets it away. Wobbly spiral forces Jones into a fair catch, but good Purdue field position at their own 43-yard line as we bring you today's Aflac Trivia question. Well, Purdue has won 4 in a row, but 3 straight in the Big Ten. When was the last time they won 4 straight Big Ten games? How long has it been? That's our Aflac Trivia question.
I know it.
Well, they're 3-1 in the Big Ten for the second time in 6 years under Jeff Brom. They hadn't been 3-1 in the Big Ten since 2003 before he arrived. So, O'Connell, rifle shot over the middle. He's got Payne Durham, the tight end. That was in rhythm and well done, a gain of 23.
It's a beautiful job. You're going to pull the backside guard. Watch the impact it has on both of these linebackers. They step up. There goes your tight end down the middle of the field. Really good job. Gunplay action. I love when you pull people. That's the only way to truly sell it to defensive linebackers, and Durham replaces those backers that have vision in the backfield.
Here comes a blitz up the middle, and right over the middle again, it's Payne Durham. A gain of 7. Back to Matt Barry. This one all Wisconsin to this point, but a good-looking drive here is Maccabee. Breaking tackles. He's tough to bring down as well. Submarines close to a first down. Torchio got there first. Looks like Maccabee, the invited walk-on. He was committed to Navy, but according to Coach Brom, said we liked him. We weren't 100% sure how good he could be, but he was all in on walking on, so we said, yes, you want the big stage. We welcome you to the Big Ten. He has turned out to be a heck of a player. It's 3rd down and a half yard.
5.9 yards per carry, second in the Big Ten. And kind of the example of that last play is what he does so well. It's just very difficult on his lower half to take him down.
We'll take it and go nowhere. Lost yardage. Now it's 4th down and 3. They're coming off of a missed field goal. Do you go back to the missed field goal unit and give them another try, or
you go for it?
It's go for it time on 4th down and 3 from the 28.
This is also a 45-yard kick, right? So that's kind of maxed out where they want to be field goal range-wise. So you got to go for it. You got plenty of options. Charlie Jones is a good player. T.J. Sheffield's a good player. You got an offense that is built upon quick passing game.
Maccabee to the right of O'Connell on 4th down. And now some confusion in terms of the splits. That's going to be a penalty against Purdue. And it's a stop on downs anyway. Maccabee lost the ball. Couple of flags through. 2 players for Purdue were shifting at once, and they did not all reset.
Illegal shift. Offense, more than 2 players moving without resetting. The penalty's declined. First down, Wisconsin. Timeout.
Maybe timeout should have been called by Purdue. They were confused at the line of scrimmage, Dan, and still ran the 4th down play.
Yeah, they send Charlie Jones to shift, and then they bring Sawinski in motion. They don't get set. Wisconsin's defense gets off the field on 4th down.
Lose the possession.
I don't see it, Bergs. Okay. Mini basketballs. Let me judge the swing. Oh, they're doing it live. Gotcha. I'll judge the heck out of some of these swings now, boys. Sorry.
Hey, hello.
Homecoming. And a perfect day for it. As we answer our Aflac trivia question, Purdue currently on a 3-game winning streak in the Big Ten. The last time they won 4 straight, Dan? Any guesses?
2000. Drew Brees, man.
You peaked.
Didn't.
Well, they turned it over on downs. Mertz to the sideline, reaching out to make a terrific catch as DK. So after a stop on downs, a 20-yard gain on first down.
How good is this? Man, look at this throw by Graham Mertz now. Extended out to DK. I love it. You motion down. We've talked about a little bit of a NFL feel. You get into a stack. You bring your quarterback out. How many times have we already seen the connection between DK and Graham Mertz, but also the movement of Graham Mertz outside of the pocket?
Now they're playing a phone booth with Braylon Allen, the I-back, to midfield for 2. Back in 2000, you mentioned Drew Brees. And boy, was he some kind of player.
He was so good. He was actually my host on my visit when I went to visit Purdue as a high school player. He's so good. Kind of changed football in a little bit with their Joe Tiller's spread offense style.
Yeah, but God rest his soul. I enjoyed talking football with Joe Tiller about as much as any coach that I've ever sat down with. Just fascinating to hear him talk about, in a way, the circumstances that Purdue in those days found themselves in and why they came up with the spread. As that ball caroms around on that screen. Couple of flags in the offensive backfield, though, as Mertz ends up flat on his back. Kadron Jenkins was back there, and they might get Kadron Jenkins for roughing the passer.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 44. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Costly penalty on Kadron Jenkins.
Yeah, they're trying to get a screen off Wisconsin. Watch 44 Jenkins right here. This is him off the edge. They're actually going to do a good job covering it if you're Purdue. He goes underneath the right tackle. Getting just completely smokes Graham Mertz.
That's the first Purdue penalty. And it gives Wisconsin a first down to the Purdue 35-yard line.
As a quarterback, after taking one of those hits, there's like, coach, just call a run play, man. Like, give me a second to breathe, dude.
And they do. Allen to the 30-yard line. Spun down there, but picked up 5. Sanusi Kane with the stop.
I can't say enough right now, this Wisconsin offensive line. This is, they've gone through so many injuries this year. They've used 5 different starting units or combinations in the first 7 games. And they just haven't had the sync that they've had in the past, but that is not the case today. They are doing a very good job up front working together.
This play whistle dead as it begins. It'll be a Wisconsin false start. So that'll make it second down and 10.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Let's check in with Matt Barry. That was a pretty one from Nix right down the chimney. Here is Mertz on second and 10. Slant left, incomplete. Keontez Lewis looking back as the ball sails behind him. And I'm not sure if he's hoping for a flag or if that's just a miscommunication on the route. It'll be third down and 10.
Bobby, what happens is the linebacker has the back. He went out to his right, so he's following him in man coverage. Lewis comes in on the slant, and they just kind of bump into each other, like the fact that no flag was thrown there. If you're Graham Mertz right now, your team is rolling. Nothing reckless with the football. Let's make the right decision and trust our feet. You got one-on-one up top if you want it.
Purdue brings a blitz. Mertz under pressure. Somehow avoids a sack. Now he's going down with a flag down as well. Sanusi Kane eventually gets the sack. We'll have to check the penalty marker. And Kadron Jenkins is rolling around in pain as well. It looks like this call will go against Wisconsin, and you'd think it would be an automatic decline for Purdue as they get the sack on third down, and Wisconsin knocked out of field goal range as well. So there's the call. Holding is declined, but we're going to step aside as Kadron Jenkins is being helped up.
Holding. Offense, number 75. The penalties declined. Fourth down. Timeout.
So fourth down for Wisconsin when we come back.
ESPN College Football delivered by Papa John's is brought to you by Goodyear. Discover the possibilities. Goodyear, more driven.
If you're new to Madison and you ride by Mickey's Dairy Bar and you see a line out the door and you wonder, what is that little hole in the wall with a line out the door?
Heaven?
Do you understand now why there's a line out the door?
Ooh, look at that spread.
That's the diet special that they were handing out right there. Nothing but stuff for guys that look like me inside that place.
You're not counting calories?
By the hundreds or thousands. So after what turned out to be a good stop for the Purdue defense, Charlie Jones with a fair catch at the 10-yard line. Bob Wischusen and Dan Orlovsky upstairs, and Chris Budden downstairs. Chris?
Bob, going back to that last Purdue possession on the fourth down confusion, Jeff Brom went up to Aiden O'Connell and said, what are you doing? We just talked about this in the huddle. I'm confused. What are you telling them? And then Aiden went up to the rest of his offense and said, guys, that is my bad on the communication.
I think just settling in right now, you've kind of been punched in the face if you're Aiden O'Connell in Purdue. And for a guy who's played so much football, trust all your training, settle your heart rate down, and make sure you have great clarity in the huddle.
Here he is to throw on first down. One-on-one down the sideline, takes that shot and draws a flag. Charlie Jones, the intended receiver, and Ricardo Hallman. And it looks like will be called for pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
There's Charlie Jones just on a one-on-one go route versus Hallman. Kind of outside releases, peeks back for the football. Hallman reaches that right arm right there. That's the right flag. Hallman's a guy that Michigan State kind of attacked last week. Never really gives Charlie Jones the opportunity to go back to the football. You know, as a quarterback, if you're AOC right now, the big thing, you always get taught this as a young kid, like everybody on your football team is looking at you right now to think if they have a legitimate chance. So your body language is everything to your teammates right now, and that's got to be a big deal for him.
There's one for Kobe Lewis. That's a good run.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
It looks like he's got a first down. After contact, he picked up about 5 more. Jordan Turner made the tackle.
Well, Bob, they've moved the football offensively. They threw the pick 6 on third down. They've got 130 yards of offense, missed field goal, and then they go for it on fourth down at basically the 25-yard line and don't get it. So for Jeff Brom, as dire of a situation as it is right now, your offense has moved the football. You've just completely hurt yourself in this first half.
Play action. Lewis picks up the blitz. O'Connell to the sideline. Flag down. Leaping attempt made by Jones. But the momentum of that throw carried him out of bounds. Flags in the backfield.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense, number 75 and 25. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That was on the blitz pickup.
Yeah, Holstage, their left guard. You're going to get the pressure from the linebacker. And then watch, freeze it right now. They both cannot be engaged at the same time. That's exactly what happens. That's why you have the penalty. As Kobe Lewis and Holstage are both chopping that linebacker off. If one does it, it's okay, but they both can't be engaged.
What is the definition for Holstage of being engaged? Certainly
I think it's hands-on, though. I think he's got hands-on.
That's all it was literally a hand on the rusher. That looked like a tough call to me. Jones makes the catch, immediately dropped by Alexander Smith. The next stop on the Formula One schedule is the Aramco U.S. Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Pre-race coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. So second down and 18 as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. It's picked up again. One-on-one out on the edge again. And coming back to make a sliding catch is Jones, and it makes it third and manageable. Third down at about 6. Picked up 12 yards.
It's a great, he goes out of bounds here.
if he's pushed out, he can come back in.
Pushed out,
Right.
and then returned inbounds and made the reception.
And then he does a great job of coming back to the football. I mean, really good football IQ by Charlie Jones. You know, certainly pushed out of bounds, but then giving AOC an option to throw the football to.
So third down and a long 6.
And you got to be ready for pressure and droppers if you're Purdue's offense. Who's dropping from the line of scrimmage?
It is a 4-man rush. They pick it up over the middle. The catch made by Deion Burks. Terrific throw from O'Connell, a gain of 16.
This is great. You're going to get pressure up in the middle. Replace those guys with Burks. The in-route, beautiful job by AOC in rhythm. You pick up the pressure. You drop the defensive end. There's a massive void in the middle of the field if you play on time. Big third down conversion.
Aiden O'Connell, number 1 in the Big Ten in yards per game passing. 325 per game, and he's helped out again by the Maccabee running game. A gain of 8 yards. Again, back to Matt Barrett. Well, it's 21-0 here. Wisconsin has been in control. But 173 yards of total offense for Purdue. To Dan's point, they're moving the football, and they pay it off.
A ton of spaces.
Maccabee tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Fell forward for maybe a half yard. So now it's third down and 1. Jake Chaney tripped him up.
Still believe that you can be a run football team right now if you're Purdue. Now, Aiden O'Connell is not a quarterback that you do zone read with, but on 3rd and 1, Maccabee's a big physical back. You got your fullback in the game, Furtney, who's done a really nice job cutting off the edges.
Play action on 3rd down and short. Long throw into double coverage, incomplete, intended for Payne Durham. Well, this is the 3rd time that Purdue has crossed the 50-yard line.
Yeah, go for it.
They've got no points on the board. The last time they went for it on 4th down and 3 and turned it over on downs. They're going to go for it again.
The only reason you're calling that play on 3rd down, the aggressive throw, is because you've already made your mind up that you're going for it on 4th down. I still believe this should be a run with the 6 offensive linemen in the game.
And the offset on Maccabee is the I-back. They'll toss it to him. Maccabee has the first down. They put the backup guard, Marcus Bowe, in motion. He was the lead blocker. That's a big lead blocker.
Good job on the toss sweep. There he goes. Look at 6'3". Excuse me, 6'5", 300 pounds, redshirt freshman from Wisconsin.
He's wearing 6'3". You had it right.
I just wouldn't want to see that coming my way. See, this is the space in the slot. They've got some room to throw a slant there.
See if O'Connell looks that way. He did it first, and there it is. Deion Burks squares in and has a first down. Picks up 15.
So you got that. Probably see that the defender's playing outside leverage. So as long as you control anybody underneath, right? There's room to go in here as long as these backers hang low. O'Connell does a great job because of that leverage that is getting played on the outside by Dort. Really good job of Jeff Brom seeing that from that previous 2nd down and attacking it.
So crucial. Last 4 minutes of a half, first 4 minutes of the second half. These next 8 minutes, can Purdue get back in the game? Maybe Lewis saw play action instead. And that sails out of bounds. No chance for Jones. He made the catch, but was out of bounds by at least a yard or 2. Justin Clark walled him off.
Justin Clark is a guy that started inside and could play outside. I just think Charlie Jones is too wide right there. I know Purdue's claiming pass interference, but he's already widened off his stem. Look how wide he is already. Clark's got every right to play the football in the air as well. So if you're Charlie Jones, just try to stay a little bit more vertical on your release. Him being out completely changes their ability to throw the football. And Wisconsin should be aware of that.
11th play of this drive. That's off the edge. O'Connell floats one in the back of the end zone for Payne Durham. And now it will be 3rd down and 10 in the red zone. Remember, Purdue deferred. They'll start the 3rd quarter with the football. So what happens in these next 4 minutes? Can they put a drive together to start the 3rd quarter? This could be the determinant part of the game as to whether or not they get back in it.
Yeah, and if you're Purdue offensively right now, you're thinking zone coverage from Wisconsin. Whenever you get zone coverage as a quarterback, eyes are paramount. You try to move defenders. Receivers got to do a really good job of sitting in some soft zones. Last time we had it, what you had was inside linebacker blitz and defensive ends drop. Be ready for that.
Charlie Jones back in the game. Top of your screen. There is the blitz. They go the opposite way. Not even close to coming out of his break was T.J. Sheffield when that ball was sailing behind him. And now you have no choice but to try a field goal.
Yeah, Bobby, so this is what we call a change pressure. Both these guys are going to pressure, and then they're going to drop. Watch how fast it makes AOC play. You're totally picked up. You don't have to get the ball to your hands there, but because you just feel in the middle of your vision those linebackers pressure, it only is a 4-man rush, 7 guys in coverage, but it forces you to play sped up because of it.
Benner and Nist from 27. This one from 36. And that one's through. So it does get Purdue on the board. 3:49 to go in the first half. Homecoming weekend here at Wisconsin. Back in Madison, where from 2015 through 2019, 3 Big Ten West titles, and Paul Chryst racking up a 52-16 record. Then COVID hit, and it seemed like that did damage. 15-10, 9-8 in Big Ten play over the better part of 2.5 seasons, led to the firing of Paul Chryst. The interim head coach is now Jim Leonhard. And Dan, you came right out and asked him when we sat with him yesterday, has anyone come right out and asked you, do you want this job? And his answer was pretty, I guess, obvious, but at least he did answer the question.
I had anticipated that, and he said, well, that's why I came back, and that's why I haven't left yet. You know, I believe in maxing out this place, not in just football, but in everything. I think he's very proud of the tradition of Wisconsin's past.
Well, he is emblematic of what this program's all about, right?
I mean,
From
what did he say
town.
to us, right? When we asked him, you know, kind of what really makes it different for you?
Yep.
And his, you know, I had to, my path for football was about development. It was about working as hard as I could, tough, caring about the people around me. And then he said, candidly, I had to outwork everybody. And he did that as a player, and he kind of wants to get back to doing that as a coach in a program.
Braylon Allen doesn't move the pile for much as Purdue stands him up after a gain of only a yard. Here in Douglas, right in the thick of it for the Purdue defense. 3.5 minutes to go before halftime. Now Purdue has all 3 of their timeouts. If they force 3rd down and long here, they could certainly get the ball back before halftime with a chance to add more points and maybe get back in it. And they start the 3rd quarter with the ball.
Yeah, if Purdue gets a 3rd and long situation here, it's an automatic timeout from their defense.
They bring a blitz. It's off play action. Off the seam. Jalen Franklin, only his 2nd catch of the year. Good for 19.
Great ball fake. You pull the backside guard, put it in the belly of the back. He aborts because of the pressure. And then you got your tight end, Franklin, up the seam. Same concept that we saw Purdue run a little bit earlier in this 2nd quarter. Skylar Bell having a good day on the perimeter. That was Jalen Franklin, their tight end, 81, out of Michigan. Good player.
And now Wisconsin thinking points. They still have 2 timeouts and plenty of time on the clock. A rollout from Ertz. Zings one to the sideline. Toe tapping his DK. He's got another 1st down.
I'm telling you, Graham Mertz is a completely different player when you allow his athleticism to be a part of the game. It's the same play that we had the touchdown pass on to DK. He throws the ball by far better outside of the pocket than he does inside the pocket. He sees it clearer. He's more convicted with his throw. He's way more accurate. And it's a good job by Bobby Ingram, their offensive coordinator, leaning into that. Plenty of time on the clock if you're Wisconsin. Good job. He sees pressure, changing the protection, getting to a different play.
And they run it with Allen. And he is dropped right at the line of scrimmage. Scotty Humpick made the stop. And again, coming up tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. It's the Whiteout in Happy Valley. Saturday Night Football, Penn State, Minnesota. Again on ABC. They'll kick it at 7:30. Mo Ibrahim and 4-2 Minnesota. Hoping to get a win on the road. As over the last 25 years, not too bad when you put together 14 in a row with 100 or more on the ground. Mertz, pocket collapsing. Out of harm's way. Hoists one down the sideline, but breaking his route off was Keontez Lewis. Prince James Boyd came through and got pressure on Mertz. And the Kentucky transfer, Jamari Brown, down on one knee. So we'll step aside. Oh, see, that's why you're good. That's producing right there. All right, Matt, thanks a lot. 3rd down and 10 for Wisconsin. Have we seen the end of DJ Uiagalelei and his era at Clemson? That'll be the question all week for Dabo Swinney after what happened today. 3-man rush on 3rd down. Still the pressure gets through and a sack to midfield. Jack Sullivan, 3rd sack of the season for the 5th-year senior and a big one at that.
Sullivan's just going to loop inside.
Timeout.
That's a great job by him of just running through. Dean's going to go underneath. Look, he just bows through basically everybody. Sullivan goes after the quarterback. Graham Mertz is trying to break out. There's really a poor job by Wisconsin, both up front and their back, protecting against that 3-man rush. Sullivan doing a great job of getting home.
Giving up a sack to a 3-man rush and a timeout called. So a minute 12 for Purdue. You can kick off your Week 7 NFL Sunday tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. The Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. The Giants off to their best start in more than a decade. Alex Smith sits down with Daniel Jones. Plus a story you have to see to believe about the 72 Dolphins' secret weapon in their pursuit of perfection 50 years ago. All the early breaking stories, injury updates, they take you right up to kickoff. Punt is going to, and right to the coffin corner, and go out of bounds, it looks like, at the 1-yard line. Vunovic with the perfect 49-yard punt. Had 50 yards of real estate and put it out at the 1.
What a beautiful kick by Vunovic. You see Charlie Jones lets it go by. I don't know what's better, you pronouncing the last name perfectly or that punt?
Well, for Charlie Jones, that is some bad luck, right? You're hoping
bounces at the 7, right?
Yeah, if the ball bounces inside the 10-yard line and it bounces just a couple of feet to the right, it's inside the pylon instead of outside the pylon, and you're out to the 20-yard line. Instead, they start at the 1 with just over a minute to go before halftime. 5 on the play clock. Hand off to Lewis. And now you wonder if Wisconsin, if they can pin Purdue deep, would have a chance to use their timeouts before halftime.
I mean, if I'm Purdue right now, I have no pace with what I want to do offensively. As you can see, the fullback for Purdue, Furtney, down. I'm not trying to rush anything if I am Purdue. And then if I'm Wisconsin, I might think about if I get a stop here on 2nd down, popping the timeout and just forcing the punt at some point.
Absolutely. They're running with Maccabee. He's out to the 7-yard line. Let's see if Jim Leonard uses a timeout. Or maybe he'll just let the first half clock expire. You would think Wisconsin would use their timeouts, but nope. 21-3 at halftime is good enough for Jim Leonard.
It's the end of the first half. Timeout on the field.
Dominant performance by Wisconsin in the first half. Back to the studio along with Joey Galloway and Dan Mullen. Here's Matt Barry with the halftime report. We're at halftime of ESPN's presentation of college football. We'll be back with more action after these messages. We're at halftime of ESPN's presentation of college football. We'll be back with more action after these messages.
show you how to be a star.
Oh, yeah, I can pull you.
Guys to go up to 3 touchdowns early.
I thought great energy early. Guys were focused, played hard, made plays on both sides of the ball. So we got a little sloppy in the second quarter. We got to get it back here early in the third.
What do you need out of the second half out of your group?
We just need guys to execute, play consistent, put pressure on them to make plays. I think our guys will have a great half. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, delivered by Papa John's. It's the Big Ten on ESPN. From Madison, 70 degrees, sunny, and a perfect first half just about for Wisconsin. Trying to get back to 500 as they take on a Purdue team looking to win a division title, but it went wrong early for Aiden O'Connell. A pick six by Torchio, getting a stop on downs for that Wisconsin defense, and two first half touchdown passes for Graham Mertz.
They got him outside of the pocket really well. You can see the touchdown pass on the run, and then DK comes back to him. He's been very impressive when they use them the right way.
Let's take a look at today's game track delivered by Papa John's. Again, the two touchdowns for Mertz in the first half. One to Skylar Bell, one to Chimere Dike. The pick six, a defensive score. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. The game settled down a bit for Purdue. They did get a field goal before halftime, and now they start the third quarter with the ball. This could be a very important drive coming out to start the third quarter for Jeff Brom's team.
Jimmy Leonard's got to be ecstatic with the way his team played in the first half, and Jeff Brom's got to get a little bit more urgency by everybody on his football team.
This is a deep one, so it will come out to the 20-yard line. What has to happen in this third quarter to get Purdue back in the game?
This drive is enormous to kind of get a little bit momentum. Bob, they had 200 yards of offense in the first half, but only 3 points. So in many ways, just stop beating yourself. Missed field goals, penalties, turning the football over. So they've been really efficient on offense. They've thrown it relatively cleanly, and they run it well. You just got to be in a better situational football mindset to not beat yourself. Wisconsin's played good football, but they haven't dominated this game where you feel we have no shot to come back. Like I said, this drive is really important to get some momentum going.
Well, they started off on the ground. Lockerbie doesn't have much. A moment ago, Jim Leonard spoke with Chris Button.
Coach, what do you see out of your team early that allowed you guys to go up to 3 touchdowns early?
I thought great energy early. Guys were focused, played hard, made plays on both sides of the ball. So we got a little sloppy in the second quarter. We got to get it back here early in the third.
What do you need out of the second half out of your group?
We just need guys to execute, play consistent, put pressure on them to make plays. I think our guys will have a great half.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And there's a batted ball at the line by Keanu Benton. So now it's 3rd down and 9 to start the third quarter for Purdue.
And Bob, in many ways, like this is where Wisconsin has lived defensively. Benton, watch their right arm get up. O'Connell's trying to hit his tight end Durham. Beautiful job by Benton, having great football awareness. This is where they've lived a little bit, where they could pressure. The big deal in the first half was blitzing those linebackers and dropping those ends.
There is a blitz. O'Connell, and he throws another interception, and it's Torchio again. This time he doesn't take it to the house, but the second time that Torchio has jumped a route to pick off Aiden O'Connell. It's like deja vu from the first drive of the opening quarter for Purdue.
This is just beautiful by Torchio, man. You got to give him credit. He's going to drop down. I want everyone to see. He's going to, at the snap, open his hips like he's going to drop. See there? And now he's going to drive on the football with vision from Aiden O'Connell. He's trying to hit his tight end right there. That is called a robber technique. You are trying to rob the middle of the field for any in-breaking route. He lied to him off the snap when he fakes like he's going to go to the deep half and then drives on the football. What a game for Torchio. Jeff Brom probably telling Aiden O'Connell, you play too much football for us, man, to make these mistakes. And these are the moments where you sit there and go, you're hurting our team. You're a better player than that.
Braylon Allen to the left of Mertz in the shotgun. It'll be a Purdue blitz. Mertz one-on-one. Back right corner of the end zone over the head of DK. I remember you telling me a story about you threw an interception. And was it Gary Kubiak?
There's a lot of moments, Bub.
Well, but he told you when you came to the sideline, it wasn't an X's and O's thing.
It was Kubiak, yes.
Right? Wasn't it more a look at your teammates lesson?
Yeah, we were playing the Saints, and I threw an interception. We had just had gone on a long drive, kind of a big moment, and watching tape. the day after said, look at everybody's body reaction to that interception. Like, that's how important it is. And I would imagine that's a very similar conversation that Coach Brown is having with AOC.
Up the middle, freeway to the end zone, and easy, untouched Wisconsin touchdown.
Watch Beach. He's going to go double team up to here, and then you're going to get another double team by the center. Tippmann and Beach and Bordolini, Furtney. What a beautiful job on those double teams. That's something that's been missing from this Wisconsin offensive line. Just the ability to create that double team, have vision of who I have to go to, and then Brandon Allen for a walk through that hole.
It was a nightmare start for Purdue and a nightmare start to the second half as well. 2 plays after the pick. Torchio jumps the route, and he picks off O'Connell for the second time today. And that sets up the Braylon Allen cruise control touchdown. All Wisconsin. Having fun in the Grateful Red, the Taco Bell Live Más student section, as student sections across the country are competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. I have a feeling they'll be sticking around until at least the end of the third quarter.
Did you call them the Grateful Red?
First time to Madison? Is it?
It's not, but I didn't know they were named.
Well, welcome to the Big Ten. It's good to have you.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's good to have you.
Purdue in an even deeper hole as we go down to Chris Button.
I talked with Jeff Brom heading into the locker room. He was obviously frustrated at his offense's inability to sustain drives. He said Wisconsin's been doing a great job getting pressure, getting hands in our face, and we have to be able to deal with that. Expect them to run the football a lot more in this half. And to Dan, your point, I've been watching Aiden O'Connell this entire game. The body language after the interceptions doesn't show any visible frustration. He's kept the positivity up. So, you know, obviously frustrated, but has done a good job keeping that inside.
It's needed right now. I mean, because you're in desperation mode if you're Purdue offensively.
Oh, play action, nowhere to go with the football, and takes a sack. Rodas Johnson, an 8-yard loss. First sack of the day for Wisconsin.
It's a really good job by the Wisconsin defense in their front. You're just kind of using stunts. They try to get a little bit play-action pass. Watch Aiden O'Connell. He's trying to pull the trigger to Durham. It's not there. And then that defensive front for Wisconsin just hunts. Like, you want to run the football, of course, but it's 28-3 right now. And Wisconsin is in complete control of this football game. And you're playing into their hands. This Jim Leonard defense that has got so many different moving parts is a nightmare in these situations.
Tunnel screen. Nowhere to go for Deion Burks.
How good has Torchio been today? He's been all over the football field. Torchio, I mentioned a little bit before, there was a little bit of sloppy play last week, some miscommunication. He's got great instincts. He's one of those players that was a walk-on like Jim Leonard. His scholarship is endowed by former walk-ons. Jim Leonard's got to be proud of the way he's played today.
Third down and another tunnel screen. This time Charlie Jones has it. Looking for blocks and ends up getting pancakes near the original line of scrimmage. Jordan Turner, Muma Jongmeta combine on the tackle, and it will be a Purdue 3-and-out.
That's a missed opportunity for Purdue. I mean, that is the screen to Charlie Jones. It might score if he follows his offensive lineman. A lot of times, guys, when they're screen receivers, they want to get the ball and go so quickly. A little bit of a patience would have paid off.
Snap, Ansel pulls it down. Gets away a knuckleball. Charity hop. Picked up by Ingram. And runs out of bounds to the 38-yard line. Flag down. It looks like at midfield.
Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. Return team number 9. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Wisconsin.
So that hurts Wisconsin field position-wise, but they've got the ball back in a 28-3 lead. And now, a quick word from Cheez-It.
Man, I make this cheesiest chain look good.
I'm still feeling the cheesiest.
You are a wheel of cheese.
Cheesy, feeling the cheesiest.
Dude, I love Cheez-Its. I love Cheez-Its, man. You know who I am? Because I got 4 kids. We got the big boxes. I'm the guy that walks into the pantry, grabs a handful, and thinks, well, it's only one handful.
Right.
It's cool. And then 3 hours later, I've had 9 handfuls of Cheez-Its.
Yeah, for me, once you get to trip 3, it goes downhill. Here's Allen. Starting this drive with a first down run. Went down awkwardly out of bounds. Appeared to reach for his left leg for a moment, but then bounced right back up. And it is indeed a first down carry forced out by Cam Allen.
I want to give some love to the big fellows up front. You talked about it, Braylon Allen. That's not a great situation with the left leg position to be in there, but I talked about this offensive line not looking the same. They've had a great afternoon. So are these tight ends. Eschenbach had a beautiful block on the perimeter there, and they haven't been what they've been in the past either.
Allen adding to what is already a 100-yard day, as he's up to 105 yards rushing. That's 100 or more yards for Braylon Allen, dating to last year, 13 of his last 17 games. He's hit the century mark. Looks like he maybe has a stinger coming off with that left arm hanging limp at his side, so Garendo will replace him. But over his last 16, now 17 games, averaging close to 125 yards per game.
Not bad.
Toss in 19 touchdowns in his last 17 games as well. Hurts to throw, one-on-one, easy pitch and catch for a first down to the 46-yard line. The catch made by the offensive coordinator's son, Dean Ingram.
How good is that?
Bobby Ingram dials one up for Dean. They've got a first down.
There's Bobby in the red jacket.
Three-time Penn State All-American, 14 years
he was
in the NFL.
Penn State, man.
Oh, really good.
How great is it that he gets to come and coach his son here? I think a big thing, too, is Paul Chryst gets fired. He's probably the play caller. Now Bobby Ingram steps into that role, and it's a big responsibility for this football team.
Garendo, a couple of yards. And if you're a fan of Jim Leonard and you're hoping that Jim Leonard ends up becoming the head coach of this team,
but let me stop you right there.
Watch them play today.
For anybody, not a decision maker, Jim Leonard should be the head coach of Wisconsin for the next future, right? Like, that's the guy that is custom fit to get them back to what they have been for 30 years. There's no one who cares about it more. There's no one who is intelligent. There's no one who's going to be able to sit in living rooms and get the job done the way he can.
Garendo on the check down to midfield, so it'll be third down and about 4.
What was that quote he hit us with yesterday? Because we were talking about, the past of Wisconsin 2 years ago in the daggone Rose Bowl, and he said something that we loved. He said, our tradition is great, but tradition doesn't die when you adapt. And I just thought that kind of encapsulated his vision. He knows what Wisconsin is and what it has been, and he never wants to lose that. But he also knows that for them to continue to be moving forward, they've got to do things a little differently.
Ran into the official, a flag down. That was the only thing that prevented him from even more of a catch and run. Flag thrown in the secondary. Ends up as a third down conversion.
Pass interference, offense, number 82. 15-yard penalty, third down.
But they get Jack Eschenbach for setting a pick.
Yeah, this is the right call. So Eschenbach is running a seam in man coverage. He's right here, okay? Now watch this defender as they drive on the football who's covering DK. That collision right there is going to be the one that they pop Eschenbach on. Actually seeing that, I think that's a bad call. I mean, that is him just running his route. He's trying to avoid that defender, Cam Allen, and Cam Allen actually runs through him. That's a missed call by that officiating crew.
Yeah, the idea of offensive pass interference is you are not running your route. You are seeking out the defender.
And he didn't, right?
He definitely did not do that. Totally. So Mertz back to throw on third down and long, and he's just going to dirt the ball as the screen for Garendo was sniffed out by Purdue. So a tough luck offensive pass interference call on Wisconsin is going to get Purdue a stop and get the Boilermakers the ball back.
Yeah, and you can see Jim Leonard upset because they call the pass interference on Eschenbach the play before, and then they're trying to get the screen to Garendo. He's getting held by the defensive lineman for Purdue. So the emotion right there of continuing to coach, and he's dead on.
Unabich, good kick, angling to the far sideline again, pins Jones up against the sideline. He gets what he can and steps out of bounds at the 20-yard line. A 54-yard punt, 10-yard return. Wildlife here in Madison. return with a closer look at the offensive line for Wisconsin. It's pocket protection brought to you by Nationwide, and not a vintage year for a Wisconsin offensive line, Dan, but they've been good today.
It's been the vintage afternoon. They started it with Braylon Allen following the left side of their offensive line. There's been some big runs right up the middle. And then he gets around the edge, a little bit of hang on that left shoulder as he fell on it. But this offensive line has been beautiful up front.
And Chris Budden, not long ago, he was headed back to the locker room.
Questionable to return for a left shoulder injury. They have not ruled him out for this game, but they are taking a longer look at it in the locker room.
So we'll see if Allen can return as Maccabee lines up behind O'Connell, down by 25. Maccabee with a crease. 7-yard gain on first down for Purdue. And now this Purdue offense basically, Dan, playing without a net, right? They almost need to be perfect from here on out. You figure Wisconsin, the way they've played, they might put another score on the board. So Purdue's probably thinking they're going to need to get into the 30s to win this game. And they don't have much time left. A rollout for O'Connell. Payne Durham. So what's the mindset game plan-wise at this point for Purdue when you're in this kind of a hole?
I think the mindset is you call your plays indifferent of the scoreboard right now. There still is almost 23 minutes of game time. You have had nothing go right your way in situational football, so you can't chase the points right now. See if you can put together just a good drive. Get points on the board, and then assess what happens once your defense gets on the field. But don't chase them right now.
Toss it to Maccabee. Torchio eventually part of the pair that gets him on the ground after a 5-yard gain. Nice little cutback. Tatum Grass in on the stop as well, but Maccabee has an elusive quality and runs through contact pretty well as well.
He runs with a purpose. There's no doubt about that. He is slippery. He's very. We've seen multiple moments when he's just difficult to tackle. And he's kind of long, Bob. He's 6'1", 195 pounds. So the violence that he runs with and like the lankiness has been challenging for defenses.
O'Connell off play action, sacked again. The pass protection gave him no time. Jake Chaney on a loop around blitz.
You talk about the loop. Watch this. It's going to be an inside stunt, and then the backer's going to come over the top. Beautiful job. And then he comes unblocked to Aiden O'Connell, and there's nowhere to throw the football. This front has just been a really good front today. Here comes Chaney just off that edge. The timing of it, the execution, the subtlety, the consistency of their moves, and then Chaney wrapping right off the edge has been big.
And on 3rd down and 10, here's where it gets tough to diagnose as well. 4-man rush, back shoulder, reaching back to make the catch. Charlie Jones, but out of bounds. Good coverage from Justin Clark.
Clark's been good today, huh? I mean, it's just one-on-one at the bottom of the screen again. Beautiful back shoulder throw. Charlie Jones tries to get that left foot down and not even close. And I would say, again, we saw a little bit in the red zone. There's nowhere for him to throw that football, right? And Aiden O'Connell, that's the place where you want to throw it, but he's just getting so pushed to the outside by Clark.
So the punt again. Dean Ingram. Bobbles the football. It's still on the ground. And it's a Purdue recovery. Just the break the Boilermakers needed to maybe get back in the game. Dean Ingram lost it. Purdue found it. And they've got it 1st down, it looks like. If not in the red zone, close. Let's see where the officials spot the football.
Just takes his eyes off it, right? And just kind of gets onto that left bicep. Look, is that the long snapper? Is it Kano? See how it just kind of drifts to his left side? Kano just getting down there, making a play on the ball.
The UConn transfer.
Yeah, what do you know?
Nick Sakino. So here's Maccabee. A 5-yard gain on 1st down.
So now it's sudden change for your defense if you're Wisconsin, who's played so good. Purdue finally has some form of life, and it's You rep these situations in practice all the time if you're a coach. Sudden change, defense, you got to get right back out on the field. Whatever we were doing doesn't matter. Now we got to go make a stop. And at Purdue offensively, it's you have to go capitalize on this opportunity. I would run the football if I was Purdue. I don't think I have any trust in my pass game versus this defense.
Gonna throw it. Charlie Jones in a tight window. 1st and goal at the 8.
Good job sitting in that soft spot if you're Charlie Jones. If we're going to throw the ball and you're Purdue, we got to get into some condensed splits, some of these bunches right now to try to take advantage of some of the softer zone that's getting played on the outside. Aiden O'Connell saw that one well.
There's an offense that put up 608 yards last week against Nebraska.
See how they're spread out right now? In this spread right now, this is when I would run the football at Wisconsin in a lighter box.
There is the run with Maccabee. Buried at the line of scrimmage. Maybe pushed forward for a half yard. CJ Getz around his ankles to bring him down. 2nd down and goal.
Good job by Getz, scraping down the line of scrimmage. Everything starts with Charlie Jones. So how many different ways can you get him into a little bit of a condensed formation? I think Clark has done a good job of getting hands on him. I got to get him away from the defenders.
Now it's King Doru in the game to the right of O'Connell in the backfield. O'Connell on a rollout, looking back to his left. The tight end throw back to Payne Durham for the touchdown. Well executed.
Well, O'Connell is going to sprint out this way. When he does, just pay attention to everybody on this Wisconsin defense as they follow. And here's Durham. He is now going to leak right where everybody just vacated. You clear out the space. You sprint the quarterback to the right. What a one-handed grab. Really good aggressive play call by Jeff Brom. You move the quarterback and everybody to flow, and then you replace it with the tight end.
Well, Purdue has lost 14 points off turnovers to Wisconsin today, but now they get a break. They capitalize. It began with the Dean Ingram muff of the punt. Could not secure it. Zakino, the long snapper, was there to make the recovery. And Aiden O'Connell lofts one to Payne Durham for Purdue's first touchdown. Maybe Purdue has given Bucky a little something to think about. 28-10 with 4:12 to go in the third quarter. As the muff punt by Dean Ingram recovered by Purdue, and a touchdown flip from Aiden O'Connell to Payne Durham. Durham's 4th touchdown reception of the season. He is number 3 all-time in Purdue tight end touchdown receptions. Actually, I think ties second now. And now it's on the Purdue defense to get a stop. They are in position to possibly win the Big Ten West. They start off the year 1-2, and both of the losses in the final minute of play, a heartbreaker to Penn State, and with 7 seconds left to Syracuse. But now they've won 4 straight. 3 of those wins by 7 points or less. Snuck past Florida Atlantic. A tight one with Maryland. And a win with a big day of 608 yards of offense last week against Nebraska.
We asked Jeff Brom kind of what has been part of that turnaround. You know, losing the close games early on and finally winning some of them. He just said we really cut back on dumb penalties and bad situation football. They watched everything as a team. They talked through it. They concentrated a little bit more and stopped beating themselves.
Well, since 2013, it obviously has been a flip of the script under Jeff Brom. Now, they want to be better than 23 and 23. But if you look 2013 to 2016 and what he inherited and what he was fighting against, and we said they're 3-1 now for the second time in 6 years under Jeff Brom. They had only been 3-1 in Big Ten play, dating all the way back to pre-2003 one time. And again, everyone thought Wisconsin and Iowa would probably battle it out for the division title. But once the water pistols started firing at the Jersey Shore, we find Purdue and Illinois at 3-1. They play a head-to-head game later on this season as well, and Illinois has a game against Michigan on their schedule too. So still a lot to be decided in this division.
I'd say there's still some to be decided today. I know it's a 3-score game right now, but there's some life for Purdue offensively, certainly coming off that turnover and touchdown to Payne Durham. I'm a fan of Jeff Brom. I think he has a great grasp of who they are.
Yep.
Purdue, you know, how they've got to go recruit, the development of the players.
That's Ross Gangler, backup linebacker, who was a special teams regular for Wisconsin, being helped off. So with Braylon Allen having been sent off to the locker room with a shoulder injury last possession, Isaac Garendo, the lone setback, with an extra offensive lineman. How about just straight quarterback keeper for Graham Mertz? Bakasecki made the stop on defense for Purdue, but it's a dive ahead by Mertz for 3.
We used to call this a sucker sneak. You're trying to get the defense to flow one way. You really kind of displace or pull both guards. You go quarterback sneak. I don't think I've ever seen it called on first down to start a possession. Usually down in the goal line area we've called it, but it gets Purdue, or excuse me, Wisconsin into 2nd and 7.
2 tight ends. 2nd down and 7. Mertz rolls out to the sideline, wide open Skylar Bell. First down and more. Broke a couple of tackles. Yards after the catch, a gain of 18.
I love it. You watch they motion Bell down. That more forces the corner to play just a little bit softer, and then it's a quick out route. Again, you sprint out your quarterback. Got better vision on that throw. Really accurate. You know, I think one of the things about Wisconsin, we've talked about this offensive line a bunch today, Bob, right? So they haven't performed the way that they have been accustomed to. But everything goes off of that. And when your whole identity and system...
Mertz, shovel pass, and bounced off Garendo, and the officials quickly signal that it is indeed an incomplete pass as Mertz was under duress, and at the last second with Jalen Graham all over him, shoveled one for an incompletion.
I'm trying to get a play action and no one open. Now Mertz has got to really protect that football. That's the only way that Purdue has an increased chance to get back into it, is trying to do too much. And I can sit here and say, like, I get you're trying to get it to Guerrero. Tuck the ball away. The defense won that rep.
2nd down and 10. Straight run with Guerrero. Finds a cutback play. Breaks a tackle, still on his feet. House call. Touchdown. Fourth rushing touchdown of the season for Isaac Guerrero. So with Allen out, Guerrero in. But finding creases for the run game for Wisconsin's been a theme today, and it continues. Doesn't matter who the running back is.
This is called a pin pull. Beautiful job on the tight end. Eschenbach is going to down block, okay? And then you are going to pull your guard and your center. Now watch. This is great front side, but this run happens because of what's happening on the back side. Bodies on the ground, cut block after cut block. Guerrero sees the cutback lane and runs away from the Purdue defense. Beautiful job. Front side, Eschenbach, down block. You pull the guard, Bortolini and Tippmann, and then the backside of Beach and Nelson cut it off, and it's a walk-in for Guerrero. That is teach tape of what it looks like to down block with your tight end. That is they pin, pull your guard and center, and then the backside has to cut him off.
Had a coach tell me one time that the key oftentimes to a run game is being good on the front side, but great on the backside. And maybe as underrated a part of blocking in the run game as there is.
Totally. And that's the difference of that play there between a 6-yard gain and a 50-yard touchdown.
Deion Burks out to the 30-yard line with a flag down on the return.
And Bobby, that was kind of my point I was making before that drive is they haven't been dominant offensive line-wise this year, but everything is built off the offensive line. So when the offensive line is good, which they have been, but not dominant, everything else is lesser. They've had a dominant afternoon for Wisconsin
During the return, holding, receiving team number 82, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Again, coming up tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app. Always a great scene in Happy Valley for the whiteout game, and that is tonight. Penn State against a 4-2 Minnesota team, and they'll take on Mo Ibrahim tonight. And not easy, especially considering how they have struggled at times rush defense-wise this year. So we'll see if the Penn State run defense holds up. That's your Saturday night game on ABC at 7:30 Eastern. Kobe Lewis dodging tacklers in the backfield. And his jersey being stretched out from behind, just about ripped apart by Justin Clark. No gain on first down. He's got a piece of fabric that needs to be dealt with. Muma Jongmeta in on the tackle as well for Wisconsin.
I love what Jongmeta said this week. There is zero give up in this football team. And it's easy to say words. They have backed it up with their play both on offense and defense.
O'Connell, seam shot, reaching back to make the catch, Baferi. And the tight end with 23 yards.
Just watch as these linebackers fire. The backside guard pulls. Paul Ferry kind of widens off the defense. Aiden O'Connell plays on time. That's been a good play for them this afternoon. You pull the guard, you ball fake, the linebackers trigger, and your tight end's got to be ready down the seam.
These two teams now dead even in passing yards, but for Wisconsin, they've got 163 on the ground to go with 162 through the air. Kobe Lewis, driven back after a gain of a yard by C.J. Getz. That should take us inside of a minute to go in the third quarter.
You know what's been one of the more impressive things for Wisconsin today defensively, Robbie, is they're doing a lot of this without Nick Herbig, who's their junior, one of the best linebackers in all the Big Ten. He's been banged up off of last week's game, so it's been Getz, it's been Peterson, Jongmeta, Turner. They've all stepped up. Chaney and had a really good performance stepping in for their best player.
Blitz picked up, and a high throw to nowhere. Let's head down to Chris.
Quick update, guys, on Braylon Allen. He's returned out of the locker room. He has been cleared to play. They're not sure if he will go back in, but he has been cleared.
Well, they're up by 4 scores.
You saw Garendo rip off that long run and said, hold on.
I mean, they may look at Allen right now, as you said, through the same lens as Herbig. Could play, doesn't need to play.
Yeah.
And we have a penalty marker after that last play.
Grounding. Offense. Number 16 was in the pocket, threw to an area where there was no eligible receiver. Lost a down, spotted the foul. 3rd down.
I don't see that. That's a miscommunication between a receiver and the quarterback. Intentional grounding is, I am about to be sacked, and I'm trying to get rid of the ball just to avoid the sack. That's not what this was.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, Bob. Is like you're trying, these guys are both essentially going to run in routes. Now it's 1, 2, 3 catch. He's throwing his ball on time. He's anticipating a go route. That's what he throws, and it's an in route. So that's not intentional grounding. That is just, I thought one thing, receiver did another thing.
That is a terrible call. And now it makes it 3rd down and 17. O'Connell dumps one off underneath to Kobe Lewis, and there's the Wisconsin defense to rally. Now you have to go for it, you would think, here, if you are Purdue, with a half-minute to go in the 3rd quarter, down by 4 scores.
Yeah, you have to.
And they certainly have time to call a play and get it off before the end of the quarter, but they are not going to. They're going to let the 3rd quarter clock expire and make sure they've got the right play call rather than go hurry up on 4th down and 5 to start the 4th quarter. So Wisconsin will take a 35-10 lead into the 4th quarter. They've been a dominant team on homecoming. They've won 15 in a row head-to-head against Purdue. And they've been dominant today as well.
survive the gauntlet.
What if chaos happens?
The Top 25 Ranking Show, Tuesdays on ESPN.
If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win?
Set for the start of the fourth quarter here in Madison. They've got a lot of reason to jump around on homecoming, as their team has dominated to this point. We start the fourth quarter with a fourth down conversion try for Purdue. And they've got it. A square into Charlie Jones. A strike thrown by Aiden O'Connell. And a gain of 11.
Charlie Jones answers the bell again. They cleared out coverage with Durham. And Charlie Jones continues to have a great game. 9 targets, 7 catches. Watch the in route. Dropping defender. Come back to the quarterback. Ball out on time.
He is fighting through it. We were told this past week he doesn't practice at all for the most part. As Lewis into the secondary, lowers his shoulders and comes up with 12 yards and another Purdue first down.
Remember we talked to Jeff Brom and we asked him, what's Charlie Jones do so well? And he just smiled and he said he's a guy that you'd like to throw the football to. And just really good feel, understanding. He catches everything that's thrown his way. Same page as a quarterback. Good player.
One-on-one. Vershawn Rice makes the catch. He's at the pylon, and they'll mark him down at the 1. Rice got behind Justin Clark and a perfect throw from O'Connell.
Yeah, he leaves some space too, right? A little hezzy at the line of scrimmage. Now hold vertical. Your split helps you. And the ball thrown right over the top by Aiden O'Connell. That's why you cut the split down to create that room.
Will be Lewis. No. Brought down right at the line of scrimmage. The tackle made by John Meta. It'll be second down and goal.
On to the safety running off for Wisconsin. A banged up Toller now in. Extra offensive lineman coming in for Purdue.
They bring Marcus Bowe back in, and he will sometimes line up in the fullback spot. Obviously, if Purdue substitutes, Wisconsin is given an opportunity to substitute as well.
The tight end at the fullback spot right now.
So Payne Durham, the fullback, and it to Lewis. And again, he is met by a wall of red. This time he lost a yard. Back to the 2-yard line. James Thompson playing in place of Isaiah Mullins as the starter today. He made the tackle.
You see the push. Nowhere to run. I'll tell you one, if Purdue wants to live in that world, you keep the quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, off the edge. You'll walk into the end zone. Everybody for Wisconsin committed to stopping the run.
Now they've got 2 tight ends, both part of a trips to the far side right. A screen, they block for it, and they don't get there. Rice was driven back. They had Payne Durham and Paul Paferi, a couple of tight ends, out there to try and block for the wide receiver screen, and they couldn't get in the end zone.
Watch Turner, 54, come in the right side of the screen. Boom, right there with a beautiful hit right at the goal line. Really good job by Smith there as well. Jimmy Leonard loves it. What a great play by Jordan Turner.
Charge timeout. Purdue, they're first. This will be a full timeout.
So Purdue forced to call timeout before 4th and goal. tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. It's the whiteout at Beaver Stadium. Saturday Night Football, Penn State and Minnesota. Again, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. After the Purdue timeout. 4th down and goal from inside the 1. And right into the heart of the student section as Purdue forced to call a timeout.
I think this has got to be a bootleg.
Mockabee the lone setback. They give it to him. He reads the ball out. Touchdown! The Wisconsin defense coming to the sideline celebrating what some of them still think is a stop. They look over their shoulders and see the officials with their hands up in the air saying touchdown, and Jim Leonard obviously disagrees.
Was a touchdown. The play's under further review.
And now they'll go to replay to see if the ball broke the plane. It was a late signal. It looks like they got him stopped. That ball's short.
I agree with Jim Leonard. I don't think it's even close. Jordan Turner with back-to-back big-time plays. 54 right off the edge. Nope. That ball does not cross the goal line.
You can see the official at the top of the screen. And he was 4 or 5 steps running in from the sideline before he put his arms up to signal touchdown. And replay certainly seems to say that he was wrong. That was the initial reaction from Jim Leonard. And then you can see that he can't believe, and the entire sideline can't believe that 2 hands went up to signal touchdown. You had half the defense for Wisconsin running over to celebrate because they were sure it was a stop. Went over their shoulders. They turned around and realized, and you can read lips, he's saying not even close.
That's why I wanted a bootleg, Bob. I mean, Wisconsin was so sold out to stopping the run that if you just faked it and bootlegged Aiden O'Connell off the edge, he would walk in. Credit Jordan
After
Turner.
review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
That's an awful, awful call.
It's hard to believe that you could get it wrong on the field. And then, even with replay, you can't see that ball ends up short of the goal line. If that is as far or as close to the goal line as the ball got, that's a foot short. And what they are saying in the replay booth is we did not have a clear enough look to overturn the call on the field.
Everyone in America had a clear enough look.
Offside. Defense. Number 94 made contact. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the try.
So Mockabee gets the touchdown, his 6th of the season. And Purdue from the 1.5-yard line now to try the point after. It is still a 3-score game, 35-17 with just under 3 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. Camp Randall letting everyone know what they think about that call. And here's one more look. Hard to argue, Coach.
ESPN College Football is delivered by Papa John's and the all-new Papa Bowls. No crust. ESPN College Football is delivered by Papa John's and the all-new Papa Bowls. No crust, all toppings. Try one for yourself at Papa John's.
26-23 Purdue, all the way back in 2003. Kyle Orton, the quarterback for the Boilers back then. Jim Leonard was playing for Wisconsin. That's the last time that Purdue beat Wisconsin. And a moment ago, how surprised was the Purdue sideline and Devin Mockabee himself that he got the benefit of the doubt. Let's go.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He knows the truth.
He knows he came up short.
What?
But the touchdown granted. And there's one of the guys with a surprised look over on the Purdue sideline when replay did not take away the touchdown. 12:05 to go. Wisconsin was prepared with a hands team, expecting a possible onside kick, and instead it's sent deep, and we go back to Matt Barrett. That's two big shake-up games in the top 10 if those scores stay the way that they are. That's two top 10 teams. Obviously, it's 10 versus 9. So one top 10 team has to win that game. But we had Ole Miss last week. Their offense was rolling. But you know it's hard to go to LSU and win.
For sure. We had LSU 2 weeks ago, and they didn't look great. So it just shows you how good the SEC is as a conference.
Skylar Bell pays the price on the end around, gets walloped by Reese Taylor. Braylon Allen is back in the game. So we heard Chris Button tell you earlier, even with the shoulder injury, he was cleared to be put back in. And after that Purdue touchdown, Jim Leonard and Wisconsin telling Braylon Allen to get back in the game. So he is now to the right of Mertz in the shotgun, 2nd down and 9. Mertz straight back to throw. Out of the pocket, shovel pass. In stride. Allen to midfield and stays in bounds. Creativity from Graham Mertz. And Braylon Allen there to bail him out for 39 yards.
It's just what happens when you, as a quarterback, climb the pocket and keep your eyes downfield. You'll see everything. Braylon Allen breaks to his right across his vision. Really good job by Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz dumping that ball off, and Braylon Allen being there for him. That's really not well done. Graham Mertz has just been in so much more control throughout this game. He's missed some reads, there's no question about it, but I think them getting him out on the perimeter really settled him in.
He's over 200 throwing now, and obviously Braylon Allen working on a 100-yard day. And adds 5 more. Here's our Week 7 Monday Night Football matchup. The Bears in Foxborough to take on the 3-3 Patriots, who've won 2 straight. AD's 105 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Peyton and Eli will also be back on ESPN2. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6.
You know, this offense, if they block the way that they have today against a front with Purdue that's done pretty good against the run this year, and Graham Mertz values the football and doesn't give it to the other team, this is when they can play kind of on their brand of football.
Garendo. Flag down. This is going to go against Wisconsin.
Holding. Offense. Number 13. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's the wide receiver, Chimere Dike.
And Dike got met by Jalen Graham, the middle linebacker, and just kind of starts falling down, and he tugs him. Left side of your screen. Right there's the collision, and as he's going down, yeah, that's a good call. That's a fair call as he's going down, kind of pulling him with him. And DK's had a good day, though.
Wisconsin might have to call timeout. They will. Graham Mertz, frustrated in the huddle.
Wisconsin
was trying to get a play call in and could not. The play clock was under 10. So Wisconsin uses a timeout. Boy, it might be October here in Madison, but it feels more like August.
Whoa.
Sailboats out on the water. We did, with a swift move there, avoid capsizing. And we take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by AT&T 5G. Ohio State dominant over Iowa. Ole Miss trailing at LSU. And, of course, the UCLA-Oregon game, a battle of 9 versus 10. And Oregon right now in control. Wisconsin after the timeout. In control, but facing second down and 15. Swing pass to Garendo. And he picks up 2.5. Samisi Fakasieki made the stop at about the 37-yard line. Gain of 3. Brings up 3rd down and a long 12 close to 13.
Wisconsin in this situation today, this afternoon, has gotten man coverage and pressure, and they have not done well against it.
An extra offensive lineman into tight end. And they'll be conservative and run it with Garendo. He's got nowhere to go. Bouncing off his own blockers and brought down by Corday Sidner. He might have lost a yard. So now, probably at the 39-yard line, with the score being what it is, you let as much time as you can come off the clock and then punt and just hope. I mean, Vunovic has flipped field position and found the coffin corner multiple times in this game. He's been really good.
It could be even one of those situations where you purposely take a delay of game and force that 5 yards to give yourself a little bit of space, take another 10 seconds off the clock.
This would be the 5th punt for Vunovic, and the play clock already down to 3. So there is the call, and there's the 5 yards.
Delay game. Offense. The penalties decline. 4th down.
So Jeff Brom's not going to give Jim Leonard's punt group the extra 5 yards as they decline the penalty. And again, Charlie Jones down inside the 10-yard line to receive. Vunovic angles an end-over-end kick. And he does it again. Spins it like a golf shot inside the 5-yard line. So the decision to play field position pays off for Wisconsin. And they pin Purdue deep. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky. Chris Budden is with us as well. I guess big picture, if you're a Wisconsin fan, today's performance and Jim Leonard's future tells you what?
That they have their guy to kind of restart this new era. I firmly believe that. I played against Jim in the NFL a little bit. I know kind of a little bit of what he's about as a human. Sitting and talking with him yesterday, you felt the passion. You felt how much this place means to him, how clear he was that why he came back, why he never left. He's very proud of a lot of the things that they've done here. And, you know, he's had to handle a lot, Bob. I mean, just imagine this. We live in a world where kids can leave school whenever they want for whatever they want. And a lot of these kids were recruited by Paul Chryst. And even Jim said it himself. You know, what makes this place Wisconsin is the people. And when one of those people gets taken away from the situation, your players question everything, right? Because if, hey, coach, you're not selling me on, you know, the national championship, so to speak, or these crazy facilities. You're selling me on the people. Well, the people just got changed in the equation. So now who can I trust, right? A lot of emotion are attached to that.
Well, I think one thing that he said that was interesting as Sheffield makes a sliding catch to set up 3rd down. He said, you know, we preach the relationships, the people make the place. So when you make a decision at a place like this to fire the head coach, that shakes the players to the core.
Yeah.
Because it makes them question everything. That's not what this place has always been about. 3rd down and 4 here for Purdue with 7 minutes to go. O'Connell over the middle. Tough catch in traffic. Payne Durham for the 1st down. Boy, he climbed the ladder and paid the price, slow to get up. But a terrific contested catch for 18.
Just watch this from the right side of your screen. O'Connell peeks, puts his back foot in the ground before Durham's ready for it. Goes right over the outstretched arms of Jordan Turner, and a great catch.
O'Connell lofts one to the sideline, a jump ball. And good position for Alexander Smith in front of Charlie Jones.
You know what else we talked about with Jimmy Leonard? You know, I straight up asked him, like, hey, you've mentioned a lot of the emotion and the challenge. Is there any part of this that you've enjoyed? You're a guy who grew up here, you walked on here, you had a tremendous career. Now you're the head coach. And I loved what he said. He said, I've gained a lot of confidence in seeing the people around me. Good swing. Have confidence in me, you know, and I thought that spoke volumes. And he even said, I love a challenge, and I love being the person that has the chance to push this place forward.
Blitz coming, another seam shot, and that time Charlie Jones is there. Close to midfield, a gain of 16.
Wisconsin brings their linebacker pressure inside like they have all day today, and O'Connell plays on time. That's one of the things that Purdue's going to sit back and watch this tape and say, man, every time they brought those backers, we played on time as a quarterback and wide receiver group, and we got a big chunk in the pass game.
And off to Maccabee. Midfield for 3. And it seems now like Purdue is just running their offense. They don't seem to be approaching the last 6 minutes as if we're down by 3 scores. Let's try and scramble and win this game. I guess a little sugar huddle here as O'Connell gets them lined up. But still the play clock winding down. Down to 5:45 to go. Here's a 4-man rush. The ball around and intercepted. Jordan Turner picks it off on the carom. And with 5:36 to go, it's another Purdue giveaway. The 3rd interception of the day for Aiden O'Connell. Not sure that one was his fault. Jim Leonard, originally a walk-on at Wisconsin, ends up being a 3-time All-American from a town of less than 150. Tony, Wisconsin, and ends up coming to Madison, beginning a football career that would turn into a decade plus in the NFL as well, as Braylon Allen bounces And eventually gets swamped under, loses a yard. But my career and Jim Leonard's career intersected for a little while.
2nd down and 9. Rivers drops the throw from his own end zone. Throws one deep up the seam. Intercepted. Picked off. Jim Leonard at the 25. Left side of the 20. He's down to the 15-yard line. Jim Leonard picks off Phillip Rivers. And the Jets have it in the red zone.
I've been calling Jet football in New York for
great call.
Going on 22 years. And Jim Leonard was one of those players that had a partnership with a couple of coaches, and Rex Ryan and Mike Pettin. They just trusted him. Right? And obviously, as Garendo looks for a crease and doesn't find one, you could probably have found more dynamic playmakers, but as complicated as that defense was, he just got everybody lined up. He was so good at making sure that the defense was sound, and a great playmaker as well.
Yeah, I think.
And one of the all-time most unlikely NFL careers, from a 3-time All-American walk-on here at Madison to an NFL career as well.
I think the playmaker thing is the one that stands out, because a lot of times we pigeonhole guys as he got everybody lined up, knew where to go, played as hard as he could, and coach's kid, very, very much so a playmaker, not only at Wisconsin, but everywhere he was at in the NFL.
Garendo on 3rd down. And he's about 4 yards shy of the 1st down.
Charge timeout, Purdue.
And
They're
Purdue
second.
We'll call timeout number 2 with under 4 minutes to go. Let's get an update with Matt Barry. Yeah. Boy, good to see Bryce Young back, right? I want to see the best players for the best teams, and I mean, he might be the best player in college football. This guy wasn't too bad himself at Louisville.
He was good. So was his brother. I think Bryce Young reminds me. He's the closest guy that really play style reminds me of Aaron Rodgers.
Returnable for Jones from inside the 10. And not much room. Out of bounds at the 12 with 3:47 to go. So Aiden O'Connell tying a career high today with 3 interceptions thrown. He's done that 2 other times. One of the other times he threw 3 picks last year against Wisconsin.
I think one of the things, it started off rough today with the Torchio walk-in pick 6, but one of the things that they struggle with really offensively versus Wisconsin is if they do not stay in positive yardage situations in a quote-unquote ahead of the chains, that's when all these moving parts defensively become so difficult to play.
Jones made the catch, thrown out of bounds by Alexander Smith. Gain of 5. Only one timeout left for Purdue, and they are 3 scores down. Four-man rush. Back shoulder broken up. Looking for Jones. Flag out. A late flag dropped, it looks like, on Alexander Smith. They'll call pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 11. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
There's one of those go routes. I mean, do they think that his right arm comes across the chest?
Don't you have a right to reach back and knock the ball down?
I think that's clean, but there was a little bit of a... I don't think it's pass interference, obviously. But I'm just trying to figure out what they saw.
Continuing a theme.
Yeah.
Screen thrown to Tyrone Tracy. He bobs and weaves his way out to the 45-yard line before he's finally brought down. Jake Chaney made the stop, got to the 48 before he was brought down, a gain of 17. O'Connell, button hook to Payne Durham. That's good for only 3. And Durham looks like he is limping over towards the sideline. He's going to stay in the game and fight through it. O'Connell hoists one. Jones has it bop around. I think he made an incredible catch. He's battling for the football with Alexander Smith, and I think he was able to secure it before it hit the ground flat on his back.
I mean, this is as good of a catch as we will ever see. Oh, my gosh. Watch the left hand just continue to... The hand-eye coordination is absolutely off the charts by Charlie Jones. We said he caught everything. I didn't mean it literally.
Blitz coming. And that throw completed. Mershawn Rice brought down inbounds, forward progress. This worth another look. From the left hand to the right hand to the helmet to the right leg to the left hand.
Come on. I actually think Alexander Smith even afterwards was like, hey, man, nice play. Like, impressed himself.
A rollout for O'Connell. Lobs one to the sideline and throws it away. Torchio, the closest player to it, with 1:45 to go.
That literally will be the catch of the year. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that. That ball thing... I think it was tipped 6 or 7 times and just had to fall completely perfectly into his left hand.
5 of the 6 times by Charlie Jones.
10 catches for 105 yards today. He's been as advertised.
He's a top 10 receiver in yards, catches per game, and touchdowns. Leaking right is Sawinski. Another walk-on to make the catch. Out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Good for a first down with 1:40 remaining.
Bobby, they like Sawinski, too. You know, the walk-on. You know, Jeff Brom's saying when he's on the field, everything just operates better. He's able to get guys lined up, and I think he's going to have a part in their offense here in the back half of this season.
They'll run one with Maccabee. Flag down. He is at the goal line. And they'll mark him down inside the 1-yard line. But it's going to be holding against Wisconsin, it looks like. So that will probably keep the ball inside the 1-yard line and go half the distance to the goal.
Holding. Defense, number 92. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So that'll put the ball at the half-yard line.
I think he's holding on Holstidge. Yep, right there, that left arm, as Holstidge is just trying to go climb up to that second level.
Quarterback sneak. No signal yet. Did O'Connell break the plane? The ball ends up rolling into the end zone. Now it's ruled a touchdown. Very late signal from the far side saying Aiden O'Connell got in. And Jim Leonard watches his defense give up another score with 1:24 to go.
Good drive by Aiden O'Connell in that offense. Charlie Jones makes some plays. Durham makes some plays.
Now it's a 2-score game with 1:24 remaining, and Purdue will line up for an onside kick.
The big 6'3", 215-pound frame going forward. Unlike Maccabee's touchdown before, clearly crosses the goal line.
Unless the play is blown dead, you could rule forward progress before he got to the goal line, but if the whistles don't blow, clearly he reached the ball across before the play was dead. So the combination of Aiden O'Connell and Charlie Jones got them down into scoring position, and Purdue makes this an 11-point game, and now their only hope is to recover an onside kick and then do it again. So the hands team will be out there. Those are dance moves via Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, if I get caught dancing like that, Knocked me in the face. Was that Purdue Pete?
Yep, same body type.
You have the same face.
That's not nice. So Van Eschen will try the onside kick. And they fake it one way, head the other way, and Dike is able to secure it for Wisconsin. So it'll be victory formation for the Badgers with 1:23 to go.
And great job by Dike. A little bit of a fake. And when we go there, watch Dike just totally look that ball in. He's completely ready for it, get down on the ground. Well coached, well executed. 1, 2, 3, 4. The big hop comes on 4. Good job.
So Wisconsin will even their record at 4-4. And something else to keep in mind, obviously Wisconsin with 4 losses already. Best they could probably hope for is to become bowl eligible. But they've played in a bowl game 20 consecutive years. Only Georgia at 25 straight years and Oklahoma at 23 straight years have a longer active streak. And this is one more step forward towards bowl eligibility, as they've got Maryland in a couple of weeks at home and still road games against Iowa and Nebraska before wrapping up at home against Minnesota on Thanksgiving weekend. And they're handing the ball off to Braylon Allen. They could easily simply take a knee at this point. It looks like they may do that now. A dead heat in terms of our FPI, the matchup at Iowa and Minnesota as well, but favored at least slightly to beat Maryland, and a little more lopsided, a favorite to win at Nebraska.
Bobby, if Graham Mertz values the ball, 13 to 20 today, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Braylon Allen, 7 yards a clip. Garendo, 10 yards a clip. So if their offensive line blocks the way that they did today, and their defense plays really good takeaway football, who leads the country in interceptions, Wisconsin, they can win the rest of their games.
Well, this is a different kind of win, because Jeff Brom's team came in winners of 4 in a row and at the top of the Big Ten West. Wisconsin before today had 3 wins against an FCS team and 2 FBS teams that had a combined 3 wins between them. So this is the best win of the year as we head down to Chris Button.
Coach, you guys dominated in all phases from the beginning of this game. What did you see out of your group?
It was great energy. You know, it was awesome to see how we started both halves, right? Put a lot of pressure on them, and that's what we talked about coming out of halftime, was putting pressure on them, making plays, and we did that early and obviously made them a little predictable.
You said you're still searching for the identity of this team. What did you find in it today?
We're going to play hard. Right, they're going to play hard, and the challenge has been playing consistent and executing at a high level in big moments, and we did that today, which is a lot of fun, and hopefully we gain a lot of confidence from it.
In this building where you had played as a player, it's your first win as a head coach in this building. What does this one feel like?
That means a lot. I have so much support from the players, fans, coaches, family, right? It means so much to me to get a win here in the first one in Camp Randall.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Dan, you said it. He has drawn so much confidence from the fact that his staff and everyone around him have shown so much confidence in him. And this is the best performance against a quality opponent we've seen from Wisconsin this year for Jim Leonhard.
So think about it. You know, Paul Chryst gets fired. 2 weeks ago, they play Northwestern. It's his first game, and they hammer Northwestern. And then last week, they go on the road, and they lose to Michigan State. So it's adversity. And you want to see, can your coach get your players to handle adversity? And I think this was the most important game so far, because it wasn't easy this past week coming off of that loss. And what were those kids going to play like? And we were talking on the field before the game, and bottom line is this. If you're the players at Wisconsin and you want Jim Leonhard as your head coach next year, in many ways, you control that.
Right.
Go show the people who are going to make those decisions that you will play as hard as you possibly can for that guy.
Yeah, the things that are authentically Wisconsin, offensive line play, run game, the synchronicity of all of that.
Showed up a little bit today.
And a lot of that hasn't been there
and I
to
think
this point this year.
A little bit is because of the injuries, right? Because of that offensive line unit having so many different moving parts. But the execution, and Jimmy said it, the effort was there, but can we consistently execute? And I mean it. Like, as long as Graham Mertz values the football and they don't put him in situations where he's got to go be this tremendous playmaker, they'll be okay.
So a terrific win on homecoming, the 16th in a row for Wisconsin over Purdue. Again, the final, Wisconsin 35 and Purdue 24 for Dan Orlovsky and Chris Button. I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Madison, Wisconsin. College football continues next. Mississippi State and Alabama. So long from Madison.